So, I mean, you mentioned Drifter. We have a pretty stellar cast here, and there was a new character that we showed off in there.
Yeah, we showed one of our new characters. That's a new member of your crew who comes from the Prax Order, actually. And they've been tasked with tracking down reports of dredging activity across the Lawless Frontier. And they've also been tasked with keeping an eye on Drifter because he's been seeing and saying some crazy stuff lately.
For the love of God! For the love of God! Please! Damn! Damn!
Working with the syndicates, like, I expect to be paid when I take on a job. Like, what are they going to be giving us?
Every criminal does.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? If you working with your crew and the various roles you could play within the Lawless Frontiers of all these different type of jobs that you're going to be doing.
Awesome. And then I have to give a shout out to James Sy. He's frankly one of the biggest Star Wars nerds I've ever met in my life. But he was talking about the blaster and that feel the first time he shot it. Like, let's talk about him.
Yeah, I love that blaster, and because like my personal joke is it's like Forerunner at home. It's kind of like a legendary version of that exotic, and it just feels fucking incredible. Oh, sorry, it feels incredible. Excuse me, for kids at home.
Swearing doesn't make it cool.
So, but what we can say about blasters right now is they're new, powerful weapons in your arsenal, and they actually draw ammo straight from your reserves, Dylan. And so the mechanic of this is basically heating up the gun and then venting it out. So no reloading technically, but since you have to like charge up heat and you have to think about overheating, it's a whole mechanic and has its own special reload associated with it. And so it's going to be all about finding like the rhythm of pace and battle between building up heat and venting it. It's really fun to play around with, and the team is really honing in on something like that feels really special and new. It's cool.
Gameplay effectively. We do have a dungeon. We showed a little tease, but again, no spoilers. We'll let you discover that on day one. Let's talk about the last thing that players may have seen, or the first thing, honestly. We saw chat blown up. Let's talk about the saber.
Right. So, yeah, this is Destiny's homage, right? It's our love letter to the Star Wars lightsaber. And we're calling it the Prax Blade. Again, we'll be sharing a whole lot more closer to launch. I'm really sorry. I feel like a parrot right now just saying the same thing. But what I can say is that the Prax Blade is going to be highly customizable in both gameplay and visuals. And so there's going to be a ton of parts and components that you'll be chasing and discovering throughout the Lawless Frontier, within the turf war, within the dungeon itself. And this is all about kind of making the Prax Blade your own. And you saw it in the Vidoc, but the blade really does feel truly exotic right now. You can do things with it that no other weapon can do in Destiny, and I really can't wait till players get their hands on it here in a few months.
Awesome.
I'm tired, boss.
Ultimately, we have quite a lot coming over the next few months. We're going to be talking about a bunch of high-level goals, objectives, some of our philosophy. We do not have a roadmap today, but we will have a roadmap in the next few weeks outlining our road to Renegades, which I want to talk about here. Let me get this up. I mean, ultimately, this feels like we're having a mini community summit on stream. But let's talk about rewards. Let's talk about the portal. Let's talk about power. Let's talk about the climb and the feedback that we've been seeing.
Yeah, so to do a little bit more table setting and framing here, like we said at the top of the stream, we've been taking a lot of this feedback to heart, right? We've been listening very intently. We've been looking at our data, and Dylan, we know we need to make some changes, right? And so this is what this whole next section is going to be about. We're going to talk about a ton of stuff. Some of it, a little bit of it is going to come from Nash and Iron, a lot more in Renegades, and then even more in the future. The other big area, because what we're talking about when we say aspiration is like in-game. You're doing an in-game thing. I should be rewarded for that. So with the launch of the Epic Raid for the Desert Perpetual and Epic Raid and then the dungeon afterwards, we're going to make all drops, the base drops you earn in that content, tier 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Move on to our final two subjects really are centered around Sandbox.
Yeah.
First of which is going to be build crafting, and then the second is around just our general approach to balance. So we have another list here of, honestly, we've been getting a ton of feedback around featured gear. We've been getting feedback around like legendary weapon tiering. What are we changing?
Yeah, so this whole space is about expanding build crafting and gear chase. And we have, we hear y'all. Like, we hear that featured gear is far too restrictive for how you're playing the game right now. And so one of the big changes we're making is all exotic weapons and armor are going to be featured gear starting in Renegades. Mm-hmm. So the class items, your prismatic builds, they're back on the table. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You're not having to think about what exotic you put on. It's all about what build you want to craft, right? The other thing that we've been listening to a lot when it comes to the gear chase is like, hey, you know, you might earn a tier 1, 2, or 3, weapon, a role of a weapon you really love, your personal god role, or the community saying this is a god role, and you're looking at that and you're like, man, it's cool, but like it's not that top tier, right? And so in Shadow and Order, which is our major update coming after Renegades, you're going to be able to enhance the tier of your legendary weapons all the way from tier 1 to tier 5 with a new currency and a new feature that we're building for them.
We actually have a list here of, we announced some tuning changes or nerfs that we're going to be reverting. Last week we were talking about Grand Overture and Queenbreaker.
Yeah.
We're reverting the changes there.
Yes.
And then we had some reworks to exotics like Stronghold, Chromatic Fire. We're going to be reverting those. And then as a part of this new initiative where we're looking at our philosophy, reevaluating how we do these things, we'll be looking how we approach it and how we communicate it.
Yes.
So. A couple notes, like we saw a thread where folks were saying, hey, the original 3 supers that launched with Destiny 11 years ago, happy birthday.
Yeah.
They feel a bit undertuned. And I saw a note where it's like Ward of Dawn, Titan Bubble, that needs to be brought up. Golden Gun. I know Warlocks are getting some abilities changes too.
Turrets.
So
Turrets change.
further ado, hello, welcome to our couch, wonderful developers. Some of you have been here before, but Noah, first on the couch, this is your first time.
Greetings, Guardians. My name is Byfear.
We've been through some stuff. We already have gameplay rolling. This is our new activity, Reclaim. But Jerome, let's talk about narrative. How are things kicking off?
For sure. Well, Maya Sundaresh, the conductor, has somewhat overextended herself on Kepler.
So let's talk about the next exotic. This is going to be tied to an exotic mission that's coming out in October, and I can already see you kind of getting excited, like Vivian was excited for the crossbows that we added. Let's talk about the Iron Axe.
Yeah, he kept me waiting, huh? Yeah, so the exotic mission, way back with Rise of Iron, like as a player, I remember like the YouTube videos coming out ahead of it of like YouTubers being like, hey, maybe Bungie's gonna give us this axe that's in the marketing, and like obviously didn't come to pass in that release, and then like come final shape, Crows got it, and I, much like many people, were like, man, I want that axe.
When's my turn?
Like I want that
Yeah.
thing. So when I heard that we were gonna be doing a little Return to the Plaguelands, it was like, I'm gonna twist whatever arms necessary to finally get the thing that I know I want. Mida Macro Tool has Discord and Trench Barrel, and it was really fun to like run that with Mida, because then you have like, you pop a couple guys to get those like attachments onto Mida, and then you switch and you have Discord proc, and you like slap a guy, and then you just are able to like pump into a bunch of dudes.
Hope you enjoy the rewards. We'll have more details on our quality of life updates over the next few weeks and a roadmap coming soon. So thank you. Can't thank you enough. And if you want to stick around, we're going to be handing off the stream to Mactix. Good friend. He's great at Destiny. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.
That was really bad.